Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another speed build. Today I'm building a rustic family home in the world of Windenburg, and this is actually one I've been sitting on for a while. It's something that I had started and I was pretty happy with it, and for some reason stepped away for like a month, and then I came back to it and changed it up a bit and finished it, and I'm really happy with how it came out in the end. Sometimes you just need to step away from a build and things come together later on. So that is what this one is. It ends up being a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom house, I think. And it comes in at 89,239 simoleons. I was thinking it was for a family. It was originally, the concept was like rustic suburban, but I think it just looks like a rustic home now. And I played around a lot with the color scheme on the outside, and it ends up being a little bit lighter than I was originally thinking it would be on the outside. There's a lot of black accents, and the inside is fairly open concept. There's actually 2 living spaces, and it's just a little bit different. It fills up most of the lot, so there's not a lot of outdoor space here, but I think it's really pretty. This is one of my favorite lots in Windenburg. The water all around it and all of the plants. It's just so lush, and I really, really love this area. So I hope you will enjoy this build. If you do and you would like to download it, you can find it on the Sims 4 gallery under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You could also find it under the hashtag MissGryphi, and that information will also be in the description down below as well. So the exterior is starting to come together here. This is the shape I go with the exception of I add some more onto the left side of the build, because I felt like it wasn't big enough, and so we'll be doing that here shortly. I also really like this balcony that I have coming out of the right side, this really cute rounded balcony. There actually ends up being a second balcony a little bit later on. I didn't add that until I came back to the build like a month or so later though, so it'll be a little while till we add that. And also you might notice from like that little fly-in shot in the beginning, as well as the thumbnail, that this is not the color scheme I end up going with. I just kept walking away from it because for some reason I'm not the biggest fan of the wood texture that we got from Outdoor Retreat, and I was really trying to make it work here, and in the end I got rid of it and used a different one. I actually ended up using the wall pattern from Seasons, which I think is really cute. And speaking of wall patterns, there is a really gorgeous rustic, or not rustic, I guess it could be rustic, but like really run down looking one that's coming with the werewolves. Oh my gosh, I'm not used to saying werewolves. I'm going to keep calling it the vampires pack, but I'll be thinking about werewolves. I'm really excited about the new wallpaper that's coming in that pack. That new pack in general, I cannot wait to build with it. If you have any specific ideas you would like to see with the new game pack that's coming out in a couple of weeks, do let me know. I'm going to be writing those down. I have so many ideas already, but always open to some more suggestions and excited just for some new content to inspire some new builds on the channel. I feel like it's been a while, because even though with our last game pack it was weddings, which was a little bit broken to begin with anyway, or a lot bit broken to begin with, there wasn't a lot to do with building. We got a beautiful new world, and so I built there quite a bit, but I feel like we didn't get a lot of new build assets, so I'm really excited to have a pack that looks like it has a lot of cool new build and buy that I'm going to be using quite a bit. So right here I'm just working on the landscaping. I wanted to have quite a bit of greenery all around, sort of blend into its surroundings and, you know, just be very alive. So that's what I had started with. I will be adding and like changing some of this a little bit later though. This is still when I had first started the build, so there is a lot of room for changes to be made. I also wanted to have a swing set out front. That was something I decided from the beginning, and I put down the Seasons one, not knowing that we were getting an adorable one with the little campers kit a while later. So I do actually end up swapping that out, but this was way before that was even announced. So I have the Seasons one out there, and I think it looks nice, but something about the like vines and the fairy lights that are going up the new one is just so beautiful. I feel like I'm going to be overusing that swing set. I just think it's really pretty. And I also got some planter pots out here as well. I'm going to be moving those on to the front porch, and we'll be getting some different planter pots actually right out front of the build a little bit later on as well. And this is where I'm coming back to it a month later and realizing I really would like to have some of these roof decorations in here from Get Together, I'm pretty sure. I think that's where they're from. So I had to adjust some of the roof pitches to accommodate that, and there ends up being another little balcony out front, which actually ends up being off of the primary bedroom, so it worked out really nicely. So just figuring that out here, getting those fences in, some half walls, painting everything, and I think these couple of changes really helped this build. I also decided to put a pergola out front just to add a little bit more decoration to the front of the build. I don't end up keeping this one in the end. I end up using one that is from Island Living. It was a little simpler, and you can see me testing out a bunch of different wall patterns here because I really wasn't sure what I was going for. I actually kind of like this one. I think it would have been a fun one to keep. It's really dark and a little bit run down. It is the wallpaper from the Spooky Stuff pack. Is it called Spooky Day? I think so. But I got rid of it in the end, and we went with this one from Seasons. It lightens up the build a bit and makes it a little bit more approachable and friendly, and I really like it. I think it helps inspire the color scheme on the interior. So I'm just painting all of the roof trim here, and we're swapping out the pergola now. I end up using this one, like I had mentioned, from the Island Living pack, and I do switch it to the black swatch. I think it looks really nice here. I love the black accents, but overall having lighter colors everywhere, I just think it really makes this house pop. And just going to continue with some more landscaping. I'm getting some of this lavender throughout because you can see it off lot. So I just wanted to incorporate that a little bit more. Plus it adds pops of color since the whole house is very gray. And there is that swing set I had mentioned that I think is absolutely gorgeous. I also grabbed the table and chairs from the new little campers kit. I put them up on this balcony, but I actually swap it to the other one later on after I did the floor plan because this balcony ends up being for like a teenager and the other one is the primary bedroom. So I wanted them to have the table and chairs instead. So just moving on to the inside now, I'm working on the floor plan. The staircase caused a little bit of trouble, so I cut some of that out so you didn't have to see the struggle that was trying to figure out where to put that. So you can see there's going to be two kind of strange shape. All the bedrooms are actually kind of strange shaped, but the kids' bedrooms are very weird shaped. And then the primary bedroom is a little bit less strange, but I was able to fit the 3 bedrooms up there. I ended up thinking this would be for some parents, their teenage daughter, and they also have a toddler as well. And I thought that was fun. I feel like a lot of the times I will do like a teenager, 2 teenagers, or like a couple of kids, a kid and a teen, but I don't often have the kids be a teen and a toddler, so just a little bit different. And so that's what we ended up doing here. And working on the rest of the floor plan, I actually used Tool to like lower down these archways a little bit because of the platform. They were slightly poking through the floor on the second level, so just getting rid of that and working on some more of the paint on the outside, as well as getting a couple of more flowers and our mailbox. And then moving on into the kitchen, I did a lot of work in here and then got rid of it. I really wasn't sure what I was going for in this kitchen. I also keep changing the floor in here. And then I started putting down these counters from the Country Kitchen kit. And they ended up being exactly what I wanted. So I will be swapping those out here shortly. Just experimenting, playing around, seeing what I think looks nice and going from there. We also shrink down the kitchen quite a bit. You can see me doing that now because I thought it was a little bit too big, and this way we were able to fit a nice dining table and chairs right next to the kitchen space, which worked a lot better in my opinion. And then I end up using these overhead cabinets from Jungle Adventure, even though that is not the overhead cabinet for these particular counters. I just think it looked a lot nicer that way. I don't really like the overhead counters for or the overhead cabinets for these counters because they have a lot of curtains on them and they're purple, and that really was not the vibe I was going for in this particular kitchen. I also have this little end table that I put in the middle of the room as like a makeshift island. I thought that that looked really nice, and we're getting some wood walls in here. I changed the swatching color of that a few different times, but it does end up staying in the end. I'm just pretty sure it's the slightly more muted version that's not as red. And then just getting some tiles over here and figuring out the dining space. I think this is a pretty spacious kitchen, but it's not huge. I think it's like a good size. To me, it's spacious because I have a very tiny kitchen. It's like a very tiny galley kitchen in an apartment. So this looks so nice to me. I think it worked really nicely for this space though. I was pretty happy with it. And I think those flowers right next to the counters look so nice as well. That is from Cats and Dogs. The sunflowers just really pop in this space, and I really enjoyed that. And just getting a couple of more decorations in here. We have some barbecue sauces there. I feel like I always put the same fruit bowl, so I decided to put something a little bit different this time. And here you can see the wood had changed to a slightly more muted one, which I really like. And we're using this table from Cats and Dogs. At first, I'm putting down these chairs from Parenthood to be the chairs that go with this table, but I just swapped them out later for actually, I'm pretty sure ones that also came with Cats and Dogs. I decided later on I wasn't happy with them, and the lighting fixture above the table is from the Industrial Loft kit. I really love that light. I didn't at first. I thought it looked a little bit awkward from the bottom, but it's grown on me over time. I actually really enjoyed the Industrial Loft kit, and I used a bunch of industrial elements in this house. I feel like having like rustic stuff mixed with industrial looks really nice. So that's what I went for in this build, and then we're just getting a nice fluffy rug in the living room paired with this beautiful fireplace from Cottage Living. And I ended up using the couch and love seat from the Seasons pack. I just felt like they matched the vibe in here pretty well, and I don't use them that often anymore. I feel like there's a lot of couches or chairs or just items in general in The Sims that end up being your go-to items, and then you get new ones and you forget about them. And so I don't use these nearly as often as I used to, but I think they worked pretty nicely for this room, so that's what I went with here. And then we're just getting a little TV off to the side because I felt like this house wouldn't have a big TV up on the fireplace. You definitely could do that if you prefer, but I decided to put a painting up there instead, and I'm just moving it around with Tool. We end up rotating it a little bit as well, so it looks like it's actually leaning up there. And then moving on to the entryway where I have a place for you to hang up your coats. And, you know, just all your normal entryway stuff. I wanted it to be fairly simple, pretty open, but still feel lived in and cluttered. So we do have a closet over in the corner. I have a little stool here that ends up having a plant on it. And, you know, your temperature controls and your fire alarms. So don't forget to add those because I'm always nervous I'm going to forget those in a build. And temperature controls, not that important. I mean, it kind of is if you're using Seasons and you don't want your Sims to be overheating in the summer months inside, but fire alarm, pretty important because Sims are very, very good at catching fire. Anyway, this is the downstairs bathroom. We have a shower tub combo down here and a sink. It's a little bit like a strange layout in here, but I think it worked out okay in the end. I thought it was cool to have a tub on both levels, even though there's no bedrooms down here, because if you need to suddenly bathe the toddler that I was imagining lived here, it would be a good spot. And also if you decide to have a dog in this household, you kind of need a bathtub in order to bathe them. So I also thought that would be a good idea. Plus it's a big bathroom, so it had space. Why not? Just getting a couple more decorations in here, like a little painting. We have an air plant, or I don't know if it's an air plant. I just automatically, I see those terrariums and I'm like, that's an air plant. Put some sort of succulent over in the corner. And then this little room ended up being a very simple office space. We just have a desk with a computer on it. And this is where I realized I wanted to use these chairs at the table instead because I use them at the desk in here and I just thought it looked nice. So doing that, getting some plants over on the table, and I think a bookcase in here as well. There doesn't end up being a lot in this room. I do keep it very, very simple, but I think it looks nice and it serves its purpose. And then this is the other sitting room or living room that we have. I wanted this one to be just a little bit more like calmer. There's plants in here, a little jukebox. There's no TV or anything. It's just like a calming space for relaxing. I thought about having this be like a sunroom, and I guess it kind of has that vibe even though it's not really a sunroom. And then I also have an easel in here. I just thought it would be a nice relaxing space, and I had an extra room here. You could probably close this off and turn it into another bedroom or into a playroom. There's lots of things you could do with that space, but I decided to set it up as another seating space, another living space, and I think it worked well. Anyway, this is the primary bedroom, and I absolutely love how this came out, particularly that yellow dresser that I have next to the bed. It just brings in the yellow from the pillow on the bed, and it's just so bright and happy, and it still really fits the style I was going for, so I was really excited about that. I also used a yellow chair in here. There's a lot of yellow. I think it looks so pretty with like browns and like deep woods and stuff like that, so I quite enjoyed that in this space. Just got a little dresser over there. We have a wardrobe over here as well as a mirror, and that's pretty much it for this space. That's the door leading out onto the balcony. And then we're moving on to the, I guess it's a teenager room. Yeah, moving on to the older of the two kids' rooms. I love this 4-poster bed from Seasons. It's so pretty and I always forget about it. I actually really love this swatch too because it looks so like nature filled and it's just a fun color scheme. So I was able to make this room like brown, orange, and yellow. And I think it comes out really cute in the end. They have their own little balcony out front. They have a nice desk over here with a corkboard above it, a laptop for them to use. And I thought the color scheme in here was really fun. So I quite enjoyed this room. But that's pretty much it for their room. We're just going to be getting a little chair over here. And I actually moved the door over to make sure their chair wouldn't be in the way. And I think that worked a little bit better. In the hallway here, I just got some extra storage. And then we're moving on into the toddler room. Of course, using this bed from Eco Lifestyle, although we are getting another bed that has like a canopy over it like this one does in the werewolf pack. So I'm super excited to have another really cute toddler bed, and I will probably be overusing it just like I overused this one. We have the nice new dollhouse from the Little Campers kit in here. I really love the items that came with that. It doesn't always have to be outdoor camping. I feel like the toys and stuff I'm going to get a lot of use out of on the interior of builds because they just look so put together and like the kids put them like that themselves. They made their toys and I just think it's really cute and realistic and I just really enjoy it. So anyway, over here I am making a changing table, just putting an ottoman through a dresser, getting a couple of paintings on the walls and this really tiny bedside table, which is actually one of the modular pieces from Dream Home Decorator, but I think it works really nicely as a toddler bedside table because it's so tiny. And then just figuring out some decals on the walls as well as a little height chart. And there's a mirror on the floor as well and a toy box. And that's pretty much it for this bedroom and for this house. We're just finishing up with some outside stuff. And I believe we add a high chair downstairs somewhere as well. And then we'll be heading on into screenshots. I hope you enjoyed this build. If you did, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you have not already and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Thanks for watching. Bye everyone.